Pull this up right here. And let's see. StreamYard. Wait, hold on. I gotta hit that and I gotta go. All right, that should be cool. We cool? All right, we cool. What's happening, y'all? Chat box. This wasn't impromptu. I thought it was gonna be a little later, but whenever Foster King called, we gotta make the proper accommodations to pull this thing off. You know what I'm talking about? Brother Foster King, what's happening, sir?
Hey man, it's crazy, Voch. I've been between you, ESPNU, because I said on my video earlier, NFL Network sucks.
Yes.
Their coverage was terrible, Voch.
Yeah.
So ESPNU held me down. Then when I got home, I watched you really breaking down the one-on-ones. Obviously, we're talking about Senior Bowl right now.
Do you have an iPhone, man? Do you have an iPhone?
I do.
We'll talk later. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. The network, dog, it's like when you could be showing me valuable reps, you're gonna, hey, let's see what this coach got to say, or let's interview this player, or while Dwayne Eskridge is whooping somebody, they gonna be tuned into what Bucky Brooks and them talking about. It was a big mess. But we find ways to make it work, man. And we're gonna talk a little bit of draft. Fuss is one of my trusted draft cohorts or whatnot. So I know there's gonna be probably people from 32 teams watching this draft because y'all absorb draft content in that way. Fuss is one of my trusted guys, along with all the other guys I do draft work with. So Fuss the King, let's boogie, man.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Oh.
First question I asked everybody, bro, like what's your overall vibes of this draft, man? Because when I first got into it or whatever, you would hear the same things. You would hear, oh, this draft isn't that good, this draft is this or that. But the more you watch film, the draft ain't bad. It's just the wrong dudes are being projected at the top of it. If you look at Todd McShay's list or whatever, he'll still have Sean Wade as a first round guy. He'll have Russo as a first round guy. He'll have Parsons as the top 4 guy. So Fuss, just kind of give me your impressions on this draft class altogether.
I think that this draft class, right, is like most things in life. Mm-hmm. People jump to early conclusions,
right,
and get late to the party instead of having outside of the box thoughts, right?
Right.
And so what happens is, and I'm even, I can even be guilty of that at times. When we first dive in, sure, we kind of, look at it as a whole, like, okay, this isn't that talented, blah, 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 blah. I'll be honest. This receiver class stands up to last year's receivers class. I don't know if it's better, but it's damn sure close.
It can be close. It can be close.
Right.
I feel you.
You're going to be getting dogs in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
In the 4th round.
Yeah.
Hell, let's not just talk about Jamar Chase and, obviously Devontae Smith, but I mean,
sure,
the receiver class is strong.
Mm-hmm.
The tackle class, and I'll defer to you when it comes to all O-line stuff because you are that guy. This tackle and interior line class is not bad. It's not bad. And so I think edge rusher, I don't see a guy that I'm just like, I tell you what, people, they crap on Rousseau. I like his teammate.
Yes.
I like his teammates a lot. I wrote him down, man. So Roche's really good.
So this is my thing though.
Go ahead.
Like when I first got into this draft, I was like you and a lot of people, because look, I'm not like a regular scout to where they just give me a gang of film and tell me to find people. That ain't what I do. I take a list that's been curated already, right? And then I go down that list and then I break down people based off that list. So the first edge guy I saw was Greg Rousseau, right? And I was like, okay, cool. This edge number 1, this must be a rough year at edge number 1. And the first guy I saw was Carlos Basham after him. And I was like, cool, Basham's better than Rousseau. Then I watched Joseph Osai from Texas. He's better. Kwity Paye from Michigan. He's better. Quincy Roche from Miami. He's better. Jalen Phillips from Miami. I like
him against the run.
Jalen Phillips from Miami. So it's just that the more you watch, the more you just find guys you like. We're gonna talk about DBs and safeties because that's what
everybody want to talk to.
That's your T, you know what I'm saying? But like,
that's me.
Even the guys that were talked about at the top of the safety class, I didn't like. But until I dug into the film a little bit more, I started finding guys that I really, really would like. I'm really excited about, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But you had some names written down. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, I mean, I just had some names from the Senior Bowl, but you know, when you asked me the question about my overall feelings of this draft, man, I think it's first of all, you got to do your homework this year.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to be able to be spoiled by the national events. I was telling folks on my channel, like, dog, you're going to have to tap in with trainers. Scouts going to have to be in people's DMs. Yeah. It's going to get weird this year.
Okay, how about this? Let's do this. Foots, watch this. Watch this. I love how you did that. Segway Jones. How about this? So we're dealing with an offseason that we never had to deal with before. We got no combine and we have no like guys didn't play this year, right? So just some opt-out guys. Michael Parsons, Panay Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Jamar Chase, guys like Greg Rousseau, guys like Elijah Vera Tucker, Jalen Twyman, guys that just didn't play this year, Caleb Farley. How do you, when you watching this film, right, and you building your board in your mind, right? We're not going to build boards, till March and April. But when you building your short-term theoretical board, how much do you weigh in the opt-out guys versus the guys that have played football in 2020?
How much do I weigh in the opt-out? So tape trumps all. And it's going to have to this year. Mm-hmm. You got to do a deep dive on tape. You got to do a deep dive. And when I say a deep dive, not, you got to get scheme specific. Okay. And I give you an example. Everybody's riding the Richie Grant train, right? And I'm so glad. And I was first to that. I was first to for that train to leave the station. Right. But the thing that I saw, so when I say scheme specific, if you're a GM this year, Voch, you're a team, you're a scout, whatever, and you're trying to build that board. Voch is trying to build that board.
Right.
I need to know, okay, we know who our defensive coordinator is Dan Quinn.
Sure.
Dallas. But what are the Raiders trying to run?
Right.
What are the Raiders' tendencies? I know because this is open forum, right?
Right.
This year, more than ever, I think that because you don't have a combine, you're not going to be able to see Richie Grant move versus Ardarius Washington. Right. So we can have those Twitter battles all day, but you're not going to be able to see him versus Trevon Moehrig. Like, when they're at the combine, you can see instantly his hips are better than his hips. Instantly he's taller. Like, you're not going to be able to see that this year.
Right.
So tape trumps all. The one question I had about Richie Grant, and when you get to his film, because I'm sure he's a hot name, Voch.
I've gotten to it. First, he is so incredible. I watched him last week, right?
I didn't like how they used him at UCF. It was like they asked him to do stuff that he's better. Like in this show this week, he's better on the roof, it looked like. And they asked him to do some weird stuff at UCF.
He's borderline my safety one. I just haven't made my mind up yet. I haven't made my mind up yet. I watched him about 10 days ago. And I was talking to Jeff about this. Shouts out to Jeff. I was watching about 10 days ago. And I'm like, why are we talking about Javon Holland? No disrespect to the brother. Why are we talking about Andre Sisco? Why are we talking about Paris Ford, man? I look at Richie Grant Foots. I watched the Stanford tape, which was crazy, and I watched his Tulsa tape from this year. Crazy. Foots. And what put him over the edge for me, Foots.
Tulsa tape was really good.
His coverage ability is crazy. Man and zone. Like when he's manned up on people, crazy. Solid size. If he's in the box, he's going to tackle and hit people. But Foots, what really put him over the edge in the Stanford game, he did it in Tulsa as well. This son bitch made a play. He started on the right hash, Foots, on the right hash, and he made a play on the left numbers. Foots, range is hard to find. It's hard to find. Like you way more swagger than me. You call it on the roof. I like that. I'm just not gonna steal it from you. I'm not gonna steal it from you.
Steal it. Just stand me. Every time you use it, just stand me, big dog. That's all I ask.
I'm not gonna steal it for his swag as hell, and I love it. On the roof. He's a gangster on the roof, Foots. So when you look at everybody else, right? You look at Nasruddin, who may be incredible in the box, and he shouldn't
have practiced this week.
They shouldn't. He just want to compete. I don't even hate that. I don't even hate that. But Nasruddin's probably going to be like super box dude, but you wouldn't put him one high. Or you look at a guy like Moehrig, who I really like Moehrig, who's going to be your one high guy, but he's not going to tackle people like that. He's not interchangeable, right? Ardarius Washington and Richie Grant are the main two that I can see doing one high stuff and playing down in the box. The only advantage I give Richie Grant over Ardarius is the size. And you got to bring up size because teams look at size. Richie Grant could be my damn safety one by the time this thing is over. And the best part about him, I seen him play this year, Foots. I seen him play.
So I'm so glad you brought that up because everybody is screaming Ardarius. I love Ardarius, but see, here's the problem with Ardarius Washington. I feel like I'm getting the same player in Richie Grant because another thing that he does really, really well, you see the ball production.
Yeah.
Like you saw it this week.
Sure.
He finishes through the football. So it's like if a tight end gets inside of him and he may make the catch, he does this thing where he just comes down on the football.
Comes over the top and get up out of there. Yeah. He finishes. Yes, he finishes. Go ahead.
He finishes, man. And I just say that, that's one example of, back to your question, Voch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what teams are going to have to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get bailed out by national guys. And to be honest, you're going to have to do some work. If you, and this is what I don't want Dallas to do, and which I'm hoping that they don't, because Mike McCarthy, he drafted a Jair Alexander, who's not the biggest corner. He drafted a Kevin King.
Sure.
And I feel like sometimes when you go in to a draft with a size metric, and teams do it all the time, they won't even put certain kids on their board because of their size. Right. To me, that's a mistake because you're now not going to draft a good football player.
Right.
Whereas to me, I'm looking at a Trey Brown from Oklahoma, another player who I'm just like, man, you know what I'm saying? I would like to see him in a Cowboys uniform. I don't care if you play him in the slot. I don't care if you play him in the nickel. Play him outside. He's just a good football player. So that's kind of answer your question. That's what teams are going to have to do.
First, I got a question from Brandon from Frankly Football. He's one of my guys, and I'm starting to trust him in my draft community. He still got some work to do. Like, he ain't Foots the King or nothing. You know what I mean? Like he's Brandon from Frankly Football. You're Foots the King. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's working his way into that. You know what I'm saying? But he asked, in his personal opinion, right, if he feels like Ardarius Washington does everything better or on par safety-wise than Richie Grant, do you give Richie Grant the edge just because of his size? Like, how much does Richie Grant's size over Washington matter in your ranking him or whatever?
I don't think he does everything better. Okay. I think Richie's a better tackler, and I think Richie's play strength is better also. Mm-hmm. Just because Richie's a bigger player. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Right. I do like Ardarius Washington's playmaking ability.
I love Ardarius.
And I think he has, they're splitting hairs instincts-wise.
Sure.
But it's kind of like I'm drafting the same player but bigger. You see what I'm saying?
And that's my thing. If it's that close, is size going to be tiebreaker for you? Right. I agree.
Well, here's my thing, Voch. You've seen the film. I was hard-pressed to find him. Like with Cisco, I saw him out of position a lot.
Sure.
With Morig, I didn't see him out of position, but he's not as physical as Grant.
Yeah.
Or Ardarius Washington. I like Trevon Morig. I mean, I think he's a true free.
Sure.
But what I like about Grant is he can do both because UCF just had him shooting that alley. Like, it was weird the way they played him. Yeah. They never played him single high. Then they never really split their safeties. At least what I saw, I could go back. We've been watching these guys. But it's just like, to me, Voch, and I'm glad. So you giving that stamp,
yeah,
you bumping him up because I had him as my 4th ranked because I didn't like how he was used. Not that he couldn't do it. And I said that when I went live with Sky, yeah. I said I do like everything that Richie Grant can do. Mm-hmm. I just don't like how he was used, so I need to see it. Yeah. That's what the Senior Bowl does, bruh. Like, now you're going against NFL prospects. So now the whole you being from UCF doesn't matter. Now you're a number, a name. Can you make a play?
Sure.
And it just showed. I'll tell you, man, the way he was able to stay square, dog, like he looked like a corner. I was like, yes, like his hips were loose. I was just very impressed.
You as a DB, you as a coach, you know that these one-on-one drills ain't built for the defense.
At all.
It's not built for it. So the fact that not only is he a safety, but he's able to cover wide receivers like he's a corner. Richie Grant just keep adding to his portfolio, and I'm not going to super make this from a Cowboys idea or whatever, but I could just say this for anybody that's drafting in the top 10 picks of the second round or whatever. That's where you're going to have to take them at. So, Foster King, let me ask you this. Do you take a guy like Marvin Wilson over Richie Grant? Like a D-tackle Marvin Wilson over Richie Grant? Who you like more there?
I like Marvin Wilson, bro.
I love Marvin Wilson.
But I've been on the table for a second. So now if we're talking draft, mm-hmm. he jumped himself up to 3-4 to it's looking like when the process is going to be done after, if he just goes out and just is decent tomorrow at the game, he jumped himself from 3-4 to early 2 late one. I feel like, because especially guys, goes back to your point, we haven't seen. I'm telling you, the Senior Bowl and Jim Nagy and them do a good job of finding the right kids. They got the kid from Wisconsin, Whitewater, like that was dope.
Yeah.
This was the what's the word I'm looking for? This was the job interview.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. This is the job interview.
Yeah.
He aced it, bro. He aced it.
This is my thing, man. Rangy frees are so hard to find.
They're impossible to find, bro.
I think even if you like a player better than him, I think you got to give him that edge, because that set of skills is so hard to find. Because how about this, Fuss? I remember, and those of you that have been following me in the draft for a while, you understand, I was looking at this dude, at this safety. I'm like, damn, this little ass dude a missile, but he's little. I'm going to call him a little missile. And he from Maryland. He just started kicking the shit out of people. I'm like, hey, this dude a little bitty.
You was on him. You was on
somebody going to love this little motherfucker. This kid, somebody going to love him. And at the end of the first round, Green Bay didn't even let Darnell Savage. They didn't even let Darnell Savage get to the second round. They swooped his little ass up. And he's been balling Green Bay. He's been balling. So in my mind, if you like the player, don't play, oh, can I get him in the third? Because look, Fuss, I hate on safety so much, people think I hate safety. I don't hate safety. You just don't find the ones I like. One high safeties are the safeties I like. I think if you got to get the dude if he's on the board top of the second, in my mind. Over Marvin Wilson, and I love Marvin Wilson.
Nah, man, I'm about to. Have you put the video out on Grant yet?
Nah, I'm working a little slower with video this year just to make sure Illuminati don't catch me. But I'm gonna.
Okay, all right. Because I'm excited. I'm excited, bro.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm excited because you'll kind of paint the picture, especially for draft community, man. I'm just saying, like, with Grant, you're gonna be hard pressed to see him miss tackles. Sure. He is physical, and now that I know he can run.
Yes.
Like, I really don't care what his 40 is, because it's football. He plays football fast. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, and he didn't get bullied once. Tight ends. Now, the tight ends at the Senior Bowl weren't great. The quarterback play wasn't great. I mean, Sam Ehlinger, guys like that, sure. Ian Book. But the point is, he can play. And I know that's another thing, guys. Voch isn't down on safety, but you guys got to understand, in the league is now a matchup league. That's what the league has turned into. And this has kind of been my thing about wanting to be able to defend the middle of the field. Really, not just for the Cowboys, for anybody. You got to defend Kelsey.
Yeah.
You got to defend Tyreek Hill running over stuff. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the way the league works is you have to measure your team versus the best team in the league.
Yeah.
I give Voch, I give you credit too, Voch. Voch was one of the first people who said defense don't matter anymore. And it's starting to look like that, bro. Like,
you better scope.
Both of these defenses aren't great defenses in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And, if you're like, let's just take it from a Cowboys, you know what I'm saying, just point of view or whatever. You feel good about putting up points. So a good performance on defense, you may give up 24 points. You may give up 28 points. But if you can get a couple turnovers to give your offense the ball again, I think that's how you win ball games, man. I think that's how you win ball games. Let's move on, man. Let's keep this theme of opting out, because I've been keeping this common narrative amongst draft seeds. I think it's a great narrative. First, you got to understand whether you're a floor guy or ceiling guy, or floor gal or ceiling gal, because we got women in my chat box and I respect the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? Floor or ceiling, which one you like most? And I think opt-out is playing a big toll on that. So I was looking on the Cowboys zone forum, and I was telling them, like, yo, man, I like Parsons, but he's like my fourth favorite linebacker right now. And they thought I was trolling. They thought I was doing some Mel Kiper shit. Like I was just saying something to get a reaction. Voch don't say things to get a reaction, because I've built so much of what I have on my authenticity. Micah Parsons is a fantastic athlete. But one, I haven't seen him this year. Two, there's not going to be a combine. Three, I have film on Nick Bolton. He's incredible. I have film on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's incredible. I have film on Zaven Collins. He's incredible. So, and what I like in linebacker, they do a little better than Parsons or whatever. So, first, give me your ideas on linebacker. Tell me where you at on it, and just talk me through them guys, man.
Now that we're going back, well, for the Cowboys, I'll just speak on them.
Sure.
I like Micah Parsons the athlete. I don't like Micah Parsons the instincts. If we're talking just instincts alone, Nick Bolton would be the first player drafted to me. You can cut on any tape. He's first to the ball. He finishes the best out of all of them. I think the highest ceiling out of all of them would probably be Zaven Collins, but probably in the 3-4, as far as he has the biggest star potential because he can cover. He's long, and he to be honest with you, he's a turnover machine. Like, I don't know, the ball just finds him. He turns and runs very, very well. Right. And I've seen him do it. Now, Tulsa, Surratt, how do you feel with Chaz? Because here's my thing. I don't know if he's physical. So
he's not.
What I'm about to say.
He's not. Okay.
JOK, physical, fast, bullet.
Yes.
Don't make him a safety. Make him a very fast linebacker.
Yes.
Make him a weak. Let him run. Just let him run. He's not a middle, obviously.
Yeah.
But let him run, and he won't have to come off the field. I would draft him at 10. 100%. That's just me, because he can cover, and he's gonna blitz, and he has. I like his instincts better than Parsons too.
Yeah.
Bolton would probably against bigger tight ends get taken advantage of a little bit in pass coverage.
Probably.
But he's a damn good football player. He's gonna make good football plays.
Yeah.
I would draft him.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons is going to go high because he is the freakiest athlete of them all.
Sure.
But am I drafting Jalen Smith, or who am I drafting? You get what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Because people got to remember, before Jalen Smith's injury, you would have had to take him before you took Zeke. So it's one of those things that's like, just don't fall asleep on that point of it. Surratt, I'll tell you who I like. I'm really starting to really like Jabril Cox.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like Dylan Moses because what Alabama asks their linebackers to do is just bang, 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 bang. They never turn, they never run, because they have so many guys that can do that. If you in the game in Alabama, you playing to stop the run. That's just what Saban. He wants you to be big, strong, physical. Right. I like Jabril Cox because he can run.
Yep.
And he's disciplined, coming from North Dakota State, then transferring to LSU.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my vibe on linebacker. And yes, we are in the book. Like, I was safety. I've had to come to the realization that Dallas probably won't draft a safety at 10. Fine, whatever, cool. I get it.
Good.
However,
good.
Right.
Yeah.
If you love one of these linebackers, take them. Especially because when we start talking DB, which I'm pretty sure we're about to, you'll get my thoughts on that. But those are my thoughts on the linebackers, Voch.
I have a very short list of guys that I would take at 10 linebacker is on there. First and foremost, we got Joe Rod in the chat box, man. Just shouts out to Joe Rod real quick, man. Let me just show him love. Let me just show Joe Rod some love. Cowboys blog, shouts out to you. Joe Rod said he gonna have me on this show, man. So Joe Rod, whenever you're ready, I've been saying the same word to most people. They were like, yo, Voch, we gotta do some work. I'm like, hey man, whenever you're ready. Joe Rod is on my whenever you're ready list. I can't come on everybody's channel. But Joe Rod, for you, Joe Rod, for you in particular, whenever you're ready, sir.
Well, people gotta remember, we're kind of like the OG crew. We did a draft tour, and so people gotta understand we had very humble. Like, the draft is like it's become a mainstream thing, but I like to look at us as like we were kind of like the underground guys, especially in the draft community. Me and you were super underground, Voch. Like, there wasn't really I wouldn't say there wasn't a platform for draft talk, but it was like Mel Kiper, that was it.
Sure.
And then now you're starting to see a bunch of stuff pop up. But like me, you, Joe, we've been humping out draft coverage for a while and like doing the work. So I salute Joe. I salute you as well, man.
Let me tell you what I really like about Joe. I talk a lot, and Joe let me talk. Like, I forgot what we was doing. It was like me, Joe Rod, like Mark Holmes, something, I don't know. And I was fussing at Mark Holmes for like 40 minutes, and Joe Rod just sat back and just let me do it. He just let me just talk all day. And then when I was done talking, Joe was like, yeah, so you know, Voch, you know what I'm saying? Joe's a great teammate, man. Great teammate. Whenever you're ready, Joe. As far as the linebackers go, Foots, Micah Parsons, man, like, what I really like is mental processing, right? Because I've been burned by linebackers that are super athletes and don't do well with mental process. And I've been that way. I've been that guy because when Reuben Foster was first coming out, I was like, yo, man, Reuben Foster cool, but Reuben Foster not elite. You know what I'm saying? The people was hating on me saying Reuben Foster wasn't elite. He's not elite. He's big and he can run around a little bit, but mental processing at linebacker is very important. Now you got to be aware of the film that you're watching. Just tips for anybody watching film right now. Micah Parsons plays in the Big Ten. It's a lot of pro-style football in Big Ten. The problem is they don't run pro-style football in the damn pros no more. So if you watch Wisconsin, you watch Minnesota, Parsons had really good games versus those dudes because it's very cut and dry. But watch his Ohio State game where they do a lot of misdirection. They do a lot of, motions, read options, and he was looking lost. He was getting his life misdirected away. And that's what you got to focus on. The teams that's going to misdirect them, they got him. And when you get to the league, it's going to be plenty of that. So that's my thing about Parsons. Bolden, never seen him get misdirected before. JOK, very smart football player, very instinctive. I think it's a difference between having high instincts and high IQ. I think he has both. Plus, for a little ass dude, he's a super intense little ass dude. I think he's smaller than Chad Surratt from North Carolina, but if you watch Chad Surratt long enough, if he run into somebody, he fall down. He just seemed like a very frail, fragile linebacker right there. JOK don't fall down. Plus, if you were to rank JOK amongst box safeties, he'll be a top 3 ass box safety in this draft. Also being a top 3 linebacker. So JOK could be my linebacker number 1. I haven't really made that proclamation yet. We got till April to figure this out. Zaven Collins is nasty. I would love to have him. I just don't know how my team would use him.
That's it, Voch.
I just don't know how my team in particular would use him, man. So it's a little bit, we all over the place. Dylan Moses is another guy who's not the best mental processing guy in the world. And to be fair, since his injury, he's not the same athlete that he once was. So I'm not that high on him. So the only linebackers I would consider taking at 10th overall is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Besides that, I'm looking at one of them offensive linemen, but we'll cross that road whenever we get there. Foots, talk to me about corners because I know you've been grinding corners, sir.
Before we go to corners, because I definitely have. I love your point about JOK's intensity. I tell y'all something. Go watch the Alabama game. Mm-hmm. They were getting their face beat in, and he's still running around like that. That football character is. I know my team. We don't have enough of that. Like the one thing I like about a Trayvon Diggs is that he'll get beat, come back, and make a tackle. You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
JOK is super, super intense, and I just appreciate him as a football player, Voch. So I think you're spot on about him, man. I mean, if you got him ranked as linebacker 1, I can't argue with you. I think he covers the best. Yes, the size metric isn't there, but guess what? If you love Deion Jones, then you love JOK. Sure. Deion Jones had a run in the league where he was like a top 5 linebacker, seriously. Yep. So let's talk corners, Voch. That's cool. Yeah. So for me, okay, I got my list. Mm-hmm. For me, and I saw you tweet this and like, bro, it's crazy how much we think alike.
Yeah.
If you had to put me on a lie detector test, I can't say that I don't like J.C. Horn better than the 2 guys that everybody in draft community is pegging us. I was just trying to figure out a way like, damn, is there a way I could get J.C. Horn in the 2nd round? Nope.
Can't get him in. You would have to trade back to get J.C. Horn or something.
But can I get him in the 1st round and it makes sense, Voch? Like, how can I? Because he's more physical. All right. Yeah. He's more physical than Farley.
Yeah.
And he gets beat less than Surtain. Yeah. But both of those 2 are the names that everybody's. And when I dig in, I'm like, what am I missing? Is he slow? His football speed looks great. Is he physical?
Yeah.
Like, he reminds me of Marlon Humphreys. I'm like, I need that on this team. I don't mind having that. You know what I'm saying?
It goes back to my theory. Are you floor guy or ceiling guy? And what I love about J.C. Horn is he meets floor and ceiling in the middle, to where Farley may not be ready right now, but Farley could be a number 1 receiver for you. He could be a number 1 corner covering a number 1 receiver. He could be. Patrick Surtain is as high as a floor as it can get, but I only want him in certain matchups. I only really want him against wide receiver 2s. He'll do great.
Yeah, because I didn't like the Florida tape. The Florida tape wasn't great. Mm-hmm. And I watched that game live, then I went back and it was.
And that's not saying that he's terrible, because you need to be able to defend wide receiver 2s. The problem is that we picking at number 10. You see what I'm saying? So when I look at J.C. Horn, he's a guy that his floor is high enough to where he can play right now. Plus, if you fix a little technique stuff, he's kind of grabby sometimes, but that's more of a the more you play, the more you trust yourself kind of deal or whatever. He'll just get better with his hands and, mirroring and things like that. I think J.C. Horn is probably the better man cover guy to all of them. And he's another physical cover dude. He's not the most aggressive tackler. Like, I don't think none of them want to just tackle anybody. But in terms of covering or whatever, he's a competitive, dog, angry, aggressive dude in coverage. And I love J.C. Horn from South Carolina.
No, I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. Like, again, and see, the problem with Farley I had is he didn't play this year. So you spoke about opt-outs,
Yep.
Voch. And all the film I see, he's 10 yards off the ball. So I don't know, again, the physical traits are there.
Yep.
I don't know what he was being asked to do. And I wish I did.
Yeah.
I wish he could have competed at the senior, but obviously not a senior. But now, like, I'll be honest with you. I don't like Campbell. I just don't like him. Tyson Campbell, I'm good. I do like Greg Newsome. I'm okay with. So if Asante Samuel, this team would never draft him. But damn, I love him as a football player. Like, I love Asante Samuel Jr. as a football player. I just know that this team will never draft him. But I know that this team will never draft Elijah Molden. But I love him. Sure. Like, and that was my point about Trey Brown as well. Like, they're just good football players. Like, and I know the size metric. But let me ask you this, Voch, is there a role in the league now? Because now the thing now is, better route runners good. Like, I'll be honest with you. DK Metcalf came in the league,
sure,
and he took over because of his size. But when there were guys who could mirror his route running, like a Jalen Ramsey. Now, Jalen Ramsey is obviously an outlier because he's the best corner in football. Sure. But towards the end of the year, it was kind of like he kind of disappeared. And so the later half of the year, and that could have been Seattle's offense.
Yeah.
But is there a guy, because I'm looking at a Trey Brown, I'm like, dog, he's step for step, and he'll get beat, but he'll make a play, kind of in that Jair Alexander mode. So is there a mode for that? Because I know everybody wants a big corner, but all these, I just watched Kevin King get torched.
First of all, let me just say that there's nothing wrong with being a third round pick. If somebody projects you as being a second or a third round pick, that don't mean that you can't play. You just lacked a bunch of things in your game. You just happen to end up in that range. With the DK Metcalf thing, he wasn't my wide receiver number one because he wasn't a complete player. Now, him not being a complete player, does that mean that he's a bad player? Nah, he just wasn't complete. He just couldn't turn. Now, does that mean that you can limit his role to things to where he just don't turn? Sure, you can be successful and do things where he just don't turn, but at some point you got to add a little more to your game. So I think DK Metcalf falling in the draft was very okay. You can be a later taken guy and still be productive. Also, Foots, I asked a question in my chat box, right? And me and you kind of bonded on this level also too. I saw some people in the chat box saying they wouldn't take J.C. Horn at 10. Cool. Then I asked them, where would you take J.C. Horn? Somebody said 15. I see 17, 18, 10, 15. I just need people to understand that in this draft, the dude that you take at 10 ain't gravely different than the dude that you take at 15. So I don't want people to talk themselves out of getting the player that they deserve just because they're caught up in some value chart. The dude that you take at 15, if you don't take him, the next person that may take him could be at 17. Taking J.C. Horn at 10 is the same thing as taking J.C. Horn at 15. You ain't missing nothing, homeboy. And in my mind, you miss out on guys overthinking that. Now, if a guy like Rashawn Slater's on the board, do I take him over J.C. Horn? Yes, I take Rashawn Slater over J.C. Horn. I think Rashawn Slater's the better player. But if it's a situation where it's like, oh boy, I got to trade back out of 10. I got to get to 12 because I can't take J.C. Horn at 10. I got to get him at 12 or 13. That in this class is nonsense because there's the top 8 guys, and that's all offense. The top 8 guys are like the top tier dudes or whatever. Everybody from 9 to about 37 gonna be in the same tier or so for you. So I just want to get people used to the idea of talking themselves out of the whole value conversation. You may not want to take JOK at 10 because you may not think highly of him enough. But if he's the best player on your board, you can't say I'll take him at 15 but not at 10 because he's not going to be there at 40. You see what I'm saying?
And that's what I told you, what I said, what I was just saying about Horn. Now I want Cowboys fans, Raiders fans, whoever's on this chat, just stop this because this is what makes me and Voch go crazy. If you pass on a good player because you're following some chart, some board, then you're probably not good at drafting. It's the same. Those are the same people that pass on Buda Baker, or those are the same people that you need somebody in the room to say, can he play football? Is he good?
Yeah. Because
this draft is very different. You have quarterbacks. I'll be honest. The more I dig into Zach Wilson,
sure,
I like him. I don't love him, and I hate the comps that he's getting. and that's what happens every year because we love comps. I told myself I'm done with comps. I'm done with comps, Voch. These players are these players. You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because guess what? Like you just told me, and you sold me, I'm also, and I want Cowboys fans to also have an open mind about the draft. If Rashawn Slater's there, your defense sucks. I'm still taking Rashawn Slater because he's a better player. He's gonna be. You can imprint him on the field immediately. You still got to block Chase Young, right?
Yep.
You still got to block Montez Sweat, right?
Sure.
And Terrence still can't do it. So guess what? I can plug him day one, and that's somewhere fixed. Boom. And so that's how you got to think. If you got a guy, you don't say I'm not drafting him at 10, but I would love him at 20. He's not going to be there at 20. There may not even be 20 first-round grades this year.
Sure.
I don't know how. And we got to also understand, too, a guy like J.C. Horn could very well be the pick because Atlanta did that a lot when it came to their picks, especially when they picked the corner from last year. His name escapes me right now.
Terrell.
Yeah, AJ Terrell, Clemson corner. But the point is that because we haven't pegged or Mel Kiper had, Mel Kiper, Daniel Jeremiah, everybody nationally has us drafting Patrick Surtain. Guess what? Foots and Voch don't.
Right. And who you gonna trust? Who you gonna trust? Who you gonna love? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like I know this team more than Mel and Daniel. I love them, but I know my team more than them. You dig what I'm saying? I know Will McClay. I know Jerry Jones. I don't want to draft Patrick Surtain. Like, I like him, but I'm looking at film, and I see a player who played in the SEC who's taking away great players.
Yep.
That's what I want to draft. I don't want to draft a name. I want to draft, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I think that's a spot-on point, Voch, because guess what? When you start doing stuff like that, you start missing on good players. You really do. You trade away from TJ Watt because you're like, well, the scheme and blah, 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 and boom. You draft Taco Charlton, and you let a all-pro walk.
Yeah, I don't mind trading back because there's some people in the chat box saying you miss out on whatever if you trade back. I'm not talking about trading back. I'm talking about specifically. I gave a very specific example. I want to be clear. If you wouldn't take a player at 10, but you would take him at 14, you're phony. You're phony and you're overthinking it. In my mind, that's just how I feel. So where do you have these corners right now? Because I know that you think highly of Horn, but just kind of give me your rough top 5 and just we'll just go from there.
So I would probably go Horn. I have Surtain over Farley, but that's
fair.
Apples and oranges. So I'll probably go Horn.
That's fair.
Farley. Horn, Surtain, Farley. I'm a big fan of Asante Samuel. I just am. I don't know where he fits because he's not going to be for everybody, but I like him. I like Elijah Molden.
Yeah.
I just like he's very small. I don't even think he's 5'10". He's listed at 5'10". He's probably like 5'8", 5'9", but he's a good football player. Yeah. Again, I like Greg Newsome, Northwestern, and he's bigger. He's taller.
What do you think about the Georgia kids?
I like my man. I like Paulson Adebo as well from Stanford. Huh?
What do you think about the Georgia kids?
I like Stokes and I like Campbell. I just don't love them. So I'm just like, I mean, they'd probably be like 6. I haven't done my ranking. Like you said, we still got time. But like my 5, I got my 5. You know what I'm saying? I like the smaller guys better than them because I like their instincts better. Hell, I'm going to be having to do some work on Trey Brown and knocking somebody out my 10 because I just saw him play good football this weekend. So that's kind of like where I am with the DBs. So yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah. Going back to your point on Asante Samuel, I really like him, but I think we about to break up with a guy that's just like him. Because just because he's small don't mean he's not an outside corner. I don't think he's a nickel guy. He's shorter, and people want to put him in the nickel because he's short. But I think he's an outside guy because he's really good in with his little dude complex or whatever. Like he's super competitive. He's all of the super intense dudes are like little dudes this year. And he's a damn playmaker, man. He's a playmaker, gets his hands on the football, ball skills guy. I like he's kind of like a Jordan Lewis guy before we fell out of love with Jordan Lewis. So Paulson Adebo is an interesting name because he was really good 2 years ago. Just
I like his size.
His size is good.
He fell off. Yes, he fell off.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's something there.
I think what's gonna give people positive vibes about Paulson Debo is the Cowboys in particular, and how our cover 3 thing might end up looking. I think he'll be a perfect cover 3 dude. I mean, I wouldn't ask him to just run around with nobody, but if you're just asking him to be long and just play deep thirds, then he'll be fine.
Yeah, spot drop, no doubt. Yeah. And I think he'll be smart. Like, and that's, again, like you said, the size does jump out at you. Mm-hmm. Is he, does he have the instincts of some of those guys? He has so many plays where he was just right there.
Sure.
And then the receiver will kind of take advantage of him. But it's all good. I like Paulson. And the thing is, he will be floating around in the second, third. So if you want to take a flyer on him as your other third pick or whatever, he'll be there.
I'm going to go over some super chats, and I got one more question. We can wrap up because we had about 41. Adrian says, the Joneses to Quinn. What do you need for defense, Quinn? Defense tackle, safety. The Jones said, okay, we're taking another wide receiver. That's not fair. That's not fair. I think this front office is very good at drafting. I just think sometimes we just hate on Jerry Jones a little bit. But we draft pretty well, and I do think we're gonna do the right thing. I think taking a receiver first round last year, man, there was nothing else you could do about it. If you didn't take CeeDee Lamb, it would have been disrespectful and the wrong thing to do. If you would have taken Chase on, y'all have been way more pissed off. So that is what that is there.
Let's talk about CeeDee's numbers real quick. CeeDee's first year numbers are better than Dez's second year with Andy Dalton and half of Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is going to be a star, top 5 receiver within the next 2 years. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb, receiver is the hardest position to play as a rookie. Sure. CeeDee Lamb came in and was special. Yeah. So anybody mad about that, you'll thank us later. That's possibly why you can move on from Michael Gallup, because I still think Amari Cooper is really good. I don't want to move on from Gallup, but it's a possibility. Like, it's not off the table because you have a true one. You have 2 ones in CD and Coop.
I just need y'all to drop fire emojis in the chat box right now because Foot's internet is whooping y'all ass right now. Foots, they had no faith in you. Foots, they had no faith in you, Foots. Y'all didn't believe in Foots the King. You didn't believe in him. You didn't have faith in him. You were ready to cast him astray. You was ready to push him off the boat. You was ready to put him in that category that you put the old Foots the King in. This is new territory. You show this man respect right now. You show him his respect. Damn it.
Hey, Voch.
Damn it.
They can't hate on me no more, brother.
Damn it.
We back. We about to turn it up. Now that we got
Yo, Foots, don't say that, because the next show your shit'll be right back on froze. Don't say that, Foots.
I'll be like
Sam G drop 5. He says, any thoughts on Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State? I don't, but I'll have a full report for you when this thing is over. Foots, you seen him?
Wallace, like him, don't love him.
I'll let you know by the end of the season.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we talking receiver, I'm not talking receiver to the 4th, and some of my guys that really turned up, Eskridge, a couple other guys, they'll be gone by then. You got to remember, we still have good receivers on this team.
Yeah.
Down the depth chart. So
sure.
Wilson can play. I really like Wilson. So
Guru, he dropped 5 up there. He says, any UGA players besides Ojulari? We touched on that a little bit. I hate the fact Jordan Davis went back to school. He was one of my favorite guys, but he want to go to school. Let him go to school. And Pablo
we touched
Torres
on the corners, yeah.
Pablo Torres, if Dallas draft JOK and keep Jalen, how would they play JOK? What's your opinion on Richie LeCounte? I don't like LeCounte, but how would they play JOK?
I fell out of love with LeCounte.
Yeah.
Oh. I had him high early. He just
the more you watch guys, the more he falls. That's just how it works. If you draft JOK and keep Jalen, how would you play JOK? Foots. Anyway.
Jalen wouldn't be on the field.
Anyway, right. So what
you're gonna be in past he wouldn't be on the field. Because I'm drafting JOK, unfortunately, to replace Jalen. And you gotta draft for your division. So Saquon Barkley, Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders. Mm-hmm. That's literally how these teams have attacked us.
Yeah.
This is for Cowboys fans now.
Yeah.
I literally watched the Washington Redskins swing past us to death.
Sure.
That hurt me, Voch. I don't know if it hurt you.
Oh, you know.
But that tick too late is what will give an offensive coordinator just encouragement, and it encourages him to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. You need somebody who can close. Okay, Tremaine Edmonds can close on that swing pass or whatever they're trying to do. They're trying to take advantage of you in the flats.
Yep. You can always put Jalen at Sam, but I don't think they have any interest of putting Jalen at Sam. But what you can do is you can just play all three of them on the field, and when it's time to play nickel, you can just move some guys around a little bit. I think that's a good thing about Corey Moore is that you can stay in base formation and just move him in different places, and you don't have to sub guys out. But he's a Jalen replacement for me, and I know there's gonna be some people that's saying he's small. He's the same size as Darius Leonard or the same weight as Darius Leonard. Now when he's in the league and they give him that magical peanut butter serum that makes people strong after, the offseason, whatever, make him big and strong or whatever, he'll be whatever size he'll end up being. But I think linebacker nowadays is more so smaller guys that run and hit that can cover. And you don't lose any intensity with him. So go draft JOK and move on with your life. And we got a lot of fire emojis in the chat box for Brother Foots there. Let me ask you this question.
Hey, they turned up today, bro. I ain't going to hold you. You got the best chat box, bro.
Man, because, it's a very particular chat box where we don't allow nonsense. So the nonsense don't hang around. Like it just goes. It just leaves, and we just keep a core of people.
For this to be, bro, we went impromptu in the middle of rush hour. This was nice, Voch.
100%, Mr. Wolf. Okay, let's say the Joneses draft safety Neal. I wouldn't want to draft safety Neal and trade for. Okay, that's Madden. Appreciate you, Adrian. But Adrian, you don't need a box safety because you got one already. So that's just that.
Donovan Wilson's really good.
And yeah, just look, just the key to any of your questions, Adrian. No matter what the situation is, take the best player at 10. Or if you can trade back or whatever, but take the best player with your first pick and fill the rest of that shit out best you can throughout the draft. And that first pick could be a guy on defense. It could be an offensive lineman. Let me know. But Foots, what's your goal with this draft? Like what you trying to walk away with this draft? That's gonna be the last one before we get up out of here.
I'm trying to walk away with. I'm trying to walk away with 2 starters, 2 contributors.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this: if you love Kyle Pitts, draft him. And that may be one that people go crazy about, but I'm looking at Travis Kelce basically terrorize the NFL. Now I don't know how Dallas will use Kyle Pitts, whatever. But if you love him and you have him ranked a certain way, draft him. If you love Rashawn Slater, draft him. I love Rashawn Slater, dog. Yeah. I think Rashawn Slater is a top 5 talent in this draft, bro.
I agree.
Arguably top 3. I don't know if he's better than Sewell.
He's better than
Sewell.
But
he's better than Sewell, Voch?
He's better than Sewell. He's
better. Voch, hold on. You've been a Sewell guy. I gotta hear this. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's more physical. I think he's more physical, bro.
Sewell
that's
is
what I see on tape.
Sewell is incredible. But first we talk about prospects and then we talk about better guys. Michael Parsons is an incredible prospect. Bolden is your better guy. You see what I'm saying? So when I look at offensive line, I look at who's the better player right now. And I look at Penei Sewell with his footwork struggles, hand placement struggles. He's stronger than everybody. He's bigger than everybody. He's got the most ridiculous movement for a big human I've ever seen. He has the upside. If you want to shoot dice in the bathroom, he has the upside. But Foots, Rashawn Slater got the shortest scouting report I've ever seen in my life. Penei Sewell scouting report. Watch this. Penei Sewell scouting report, big as hell, great movement. Feet are good. Just got to work on how to use his feet, how to use his hands. Very aggressive, great second level block, boom, boom. Rashawn Slater scouting report. I whooped Chase Young for 4 quarters. Draft me. That's it. That's it. Foots. That's it. Yeah. Cam Dantzler. I love Cam Dantzler last year. You want to know why? Because on his scouting report, it said, I whooped Jamar Chase. That's it.
He did do great against Jamar Chase.
You don't need nothing else. So in my mind, I look at Rashawn Slater and I say, yo, if
Chancellor played okay this year too, I think.
Who?
I think Chancellor played pretty well in the league. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. Vikings. Yeah, sure. I look at Penei Sewell and I said, yo, when Penei Sewell works on his feet and work on his hands and work on his timing and work on his technique, he's gonna be crazy. Rashawn Slater has the feet that you want Panay to have, the hands you want Panay to have, the timing, the polish, the nuance, the tech. IB Chase Young, the up here that you want Panay Sewell to have. Sewell could be the best prospect you've ever seen of all time, but Rashawn Slater's a Pro Bowler right now.
Hey, Voch, can I go off script for a second?
100%, Mr. Wolf.
Does the Wisconsin Whitewater kid? Is there any way you would draft him?
Quinn Mearnez.
I wrote it down.
Quinn
Miners.
Yeah,
Miners.
Yeah. Not for me.
Okay.
Not for me.
Right.
I feel like they were trying to push him a little bit because he was a D3 dude, and that's fine. I feel like he's if he comes in, where does he fit? I don't think he's better than Looney. He's not competing with Biotish. So
no, he's not playing center. He would play guard here, and I don't.
And I wouldn't play him over Williams. So not for me. Not for me.
Nah. Okay. Now back to my goal for this draft, and we got a lot more to talk about Voch because this was fun, man. I mean, to be honest with you, overarchingly, I think your first round pick needs to be the best player. Sure. That's my conclusion. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Cowboys fans, this is what Foots is saying right here, right now. Your defense sucked. It did. You got 10 picks in this draft. If you like Slater, if you like Kyle Pitts, because I know people, like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen a better high pointer of the ball. And not only forget tight ends, like everybody's gonna bring up Evan Ingram, he was a bust. Yeah. Kyle Pitts is better than Evan Ingram, bro. Just letting y'all know that now. Like, he's better. Kyle Pitts may be a better high pointer of the ball than these receivers in the last 3 years. Like, Kyle Pitts is really good at football, bro. Like, he is really good. His body control, he's a 360 dunker. Like, his body control, and you gotta understand, the league is matchups. The league, that's what the league is now. Mm-hmm. The league is not, I gotta have Jason Witten in line because I want to run 12 personnel all game, and you know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, the league, you can put Kyle Pitts in the slot if you need to. You put CeeDee Lamb on the outside. You can put Cooper on the outside. You can these guys are all interchangeable. You can catch the defense in a bad, alignment, and you can motion Kyle Pitts out on the linebacker, and it's a layup. Sure. So what I'm saying is, the league is now who can score points. You do need to get stops, yes. You have because this defense, nobody you draft this year is gonna make your defense bad. It was bad. Yeah. But nobody you draft this year is gonna make your defense from really bad to really good. I don't care if you draft all defense. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah. So the goal is improvement, and with scheme, I think with this scheme alone, going back to what DeMarcus Lawrence does best and making him a true left and just simplifying things for these guys, I think that'll make your defense better. At least it'll drop to, like, hopefully the mid-teens.
I don't mind the idea of taking an offensive player in the first round. It just can't be Pitts. Like, it just can't be Pitts. Like, if it's offensive line,
that's fine. We can disagree on that. We can disagree on that, Voch.
The two offensive linemen at the top, if they're there at 10, it's egregious to not take them dudes because they're so good. That's my only, like, caveat to this thing, man. I love Pitts, but my big problem with Pitts and tight end is that if Pitts is a receiver, I got receivers. If he's a tight end, fam, the best tight ends in the world, not first round picks. I love TJ Hawkinson. They got that dude at 8th overall, and or 13, 8, something like that, somewhere around there. And he ain't really tore the world up. The best tight ends that you find are day 2 guys. And my other caveat to that, also, just to swing all this back around, I think we got tight ends already. I think Blake Jarwin would be great with that.
I'm leading a shout out to the stain on my shirt, y'all. I still wear this joint. I'm leading the Schultz bandwagon. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody slept on my guy Schultz. I know y'all love Jarwin. Man, Jarwin's soft and he always injured. My man Schultz be getting hurt. I mean, he be getting crunched and be eating that joint. He catch that ball like this. Yeah. Wow. He get toe up, Voch, and he pop right up. That's what I'm looking for in a football player, baby. I'm not mad at you, Voch. I'm not mad at you for that.
I think the best tight ends, though, Foots, I don't think they are because of who they are. I think the best tight ends are a product of the guy that's throwing them the football. Like Travis Kelce always been cool, but when Pat got there, the shit got different. You know what I'm saying? Like Gronk without Tom Brady would probably be a different dude. You know, we can call Zach Ertz a top tier guy, but when Wentz is horrible, Zach kind of went with him, you know what I'm saying? I think Dak Prescott is good enough to elevate Jarwin and Schultz, and I think we'll be fine at tight end. As long as we good at receiver and, you know, we can block up front or whatever. And the O-line last year was an anomaly because 4 tackles got hurt, 2 guards got hurt. That shit probably not going to happen again. I think we find a tight end. My goal in this thing, though, the guys that we want, Foots, the guys that we need the most, and in my order of priority is D tackle is most important because, you know, you may hate.
So hold on. You telling me you're gonna draft Christian Barmore then?
No. Well, I mean, okay, let's talk about it.
Because you're not getting him in the second round, Voch.
Let's talk.
You getting him at 10.
Let's talk about
what he did in his championship run.
Sure.
So I'm putting you on TV.
This my problem with Barmore. When you watch
there's
film
no
on Barmore,
problems with Barmore. He's a 300-pound dancer.
Sure, but this is my problem with Barmore.
I'm messing with you.
I got you. If you watch Barmore, Alabama don't even start. He don't even start. He played 30 snaps a game, and he only plays when the game is out of hand. So he's a pass rushing guy. I would love to have a pass rushing one-tech for us, but my problem is the run game. I give up 300 yards in the run game. I lose the game to the Browns because of the run game. So I need a defensive tackle. I need a one-tech. I think we got a gang of threes. I think Tristan and Neville going to be fine next year with whatever old man that we bring back. Could be Gerald. I think we need some one-tech help. If we help the run game, then our pass rushing would get better. People like to say, why don't D-Law and Randy get more sacks? Because you can't get sacks when the other team keep running the football because you can't stop it. You see what I'm saying? But the good thing about getting defensive tackle is you're probably not going to get one of those dudes to a third round, fourth round. Have you seen Tyler Shelvin from LSU?
Yeah, I like him.
He's probably going to be. Go ahead.
No, I was giving you hell about Barmore. Barmore. The problem with Barmore is he didn't play like this all year.
Right. Right.
So I was just giving you hell. He really came on. I'm like, where was this? And I honestly have a problem with a lot of Alabama D tackles because I feel like Jonathan Allen and Payne kind of did the same thing. Yeah. They turned it on at the end of the year. That's great. But even in Washington, they're not like dominant as they were. They're good. Yeah. They're not like dominant as they were. So yeah, I get you.
But you know, so we're gonna need interior D line. But just how the league is like, you know, working out, you get those dudes in the third or fourth round. So that's cool there. We're going to need safety. But how the league is working out, safety's kind of going the second round. So cool. It's going to work out there. So the guys that you really need on defense, it gives us the leeway that we need to just get whoever the hell we want at 10th overall, or if we trade back 17, whatever, but I'm just talking because I can't promise a trade or whatever. So let's just say 10th overall. It'll allow us to get the best player that we possibly can at 10 because the guys that we need are guys that you draft later on in the, you know, later rounds anyway. So if I can get, you know, my offensive lineman for the future at 10, second round, I get you know, some random safety from Central Florida. I don't know, Richie Grant. If I can get him in the second in the second round or something. But if I can get like a really good like D tackle in the third round, whether it be, I really just want if it ain't Marvin Wilson or like Tyler Shelvin, then I'm not super thrilled. But if I get like a Lean McNeil or something from North Carolina State, if you get I don't want Davion Nix from Iowa neither, but if you just get a D tackle that can be better than what you have at one tech right now, then I would feel good about my draft.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you're talking D line, I'm not mad at you either because I'm not ready to say, okay, we're ready to win games. Go ahead, Tristan Hill. Go ahead. What's my guy Gallimore? Like you guys are the guys. Like they're good, but you're gonna maybe free agency will do some of that as well. I'm kind of out on Antoine Woods. I think that show's over. It's cool, but it's time to really get some talent. So if you want to go high, like, bro, that's fine. But I see chat box saying, no O-line. Why? Why would you?
That's crazy.
The best O-lines, like, I just watched old Phillip Rivers duke it out with, the Bills because their O-line is outstanding. And like Phillip Rivers can't throw the ball 20 yards anymore. Well, not with any zip, but when their O-line was so good, that he's like, I just want, you got to also understand, Dak Prescott is coming off a horrific injury. Okay. I want to keep him clean.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on with Tyron Smith. I'll give Joe Rod credit this. He has been on the, I don't know what's going on with Tyron Smith train.
We're not giving Joe Rod credit when it come to bashing Tyron Smith. I refuse. We ain't finna have it on my show. Go on his show and give him credit.
Hey, if that's a talking point in the draft room, Voch, that's a talking point to get, to get Slater drafted.
What? Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
if that's a talking point to get Slater drafted, then to me, because if you draft Rashawn Slater, I'm gonna do a backflip because I know that my team got better right now.
Yeah. Plus,
I know that my team got better right now.
Am I wrong for thinking this though, Foots? But I'm not really losing my mind saying we have to draft corner super early this year. I think it's
corners deep, bro.
I think it's corners you can get late. Plus, I just think we're like the run game was so much more whooping our ass than the passing game anyway. Plus, everybody wanted Legion of Boom. Let me tell you some real shit about Legion of Boom. Legion of Boom wasn't 4 people. It was 3. They rotated the shit out that second corner. It was Browner, then there was some dude named Lane. Then some other kid just kind of showed up. And you could just, you can find ways to, because look, both of the teams in the Super Bowl right now, Foots, I like Sean Bunting. The only reason I know him is because I'm draft guy. I like Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis from Iowa. Sean Bunting from Central Michigan or whatever. Travarius Ward that we let go or whatever.
Auburn. I think Carlton Davis was the Auburn.
Auburn. One of them.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Ain't no elite corners. I mean, they got guys on defense. Byron Maxwell, you can hide corners when you got pass rush and you good on the roof. Because I'm jocking Foots right now. If you good on the roof and you can stop the run, you got D-line and pass rush. You ain't gotta have a second corner. So I'm fine with Anthony Brown and Diggs if my safety play. If I got 2 good safeties, Diggs, my D-line is straight, and my linebackers are figured out, I can live with freaking Anthony Brown playing my other corner on the opposite side of him. I'm fine with that. Yeah,
I mean, and I'm like you said, bro. If you want to make your D-line better after that first round pick, do it because Paulson Adebo is going to be staring you in the face with that other third round pick. He is, and I like him. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could fix him in this scheme. Yeah. And so. I do. If my draft looks something like Slater, Grant, one of your D tackles, and then a Debo, I'm good, bro. Like, or if my draft looks something like, JOK, one of your tackles, because tackle, I'm telling you, swing tackle still a need, bro. It's tackle and like you can never have enough good O linemen, bro. You gotta look, and I'm gonna tell you, the Giants D line is sneaky good too.
Sure.
So. That's you got to draft for your division. You can't just say we had a bad defense. We're gonna take all. No, can't do that.
Sure.
I think.
Sure. But Brother Foots the King, people in the chat box hating on me talking about some no to Anthony Brown. Everybody on your team can't be Pro Bowlers, man. You just kind of got to do what works. But hey, Foots the King, this was incredible, sir. This was incredible.
Was it. Shout out to my Wi-Fi. Somebody said. Foots the Wi-Fi king.
Hold on, let me hit this goddamn button one more time, boy. What? Foots, plug your stuff. Where can the good people find you at, sir?
Hey, man, me and Voch always have like a midweek Twitter battle. Hit me up on Twitter at Foots the King.
Why you hate Dak Prescott, man? Why you hate Dak Prescott?
No, I don't. I love him. I'm sorry, y'all. I just be turning the channel, turning the knob. But Dak is our guy. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on IG. I just be posting my son and like cool stuff like that. And shout out to Voch, man. Voch is, I'm gonna be real. Voch is when he's locked in with Jeff Kavanaugh, man. I be telling my girl, can you take him the baby so I could just like. Oh, man. So anyway, bro, you doing a great job, man. Like shout out to you. Shout out to every YouTuber, Shango, Voch, Mark, Okoye, Law, Joe, everybody. 1984. Who else am I missing? Who am I missing?
Shit.
Shout out to Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Law Nation. You said Law Nation. You said Okoye Media. You said Frankly Football. You said Space Cowboy. You said Who else we got? I don't know nobody else. I think that's everybody. Joe Ride, I don't know nobody else. But hey, man, I'm Voch Lombardi on everything, man. Like all the content. Hit the sub button, hit the notification bell, because you never know when me and Foot's gonna do an impromptu ass live stream in the middle of the week, in the middle of traffic.
Skywalker still.
See, but that's the thing about Skywalker still, man. Skywalker be changing his name every other week, so he's Dallas Cowboy Universe. No. He ain't Universe no more. He's Dallas Cowboy Network now. So he gonna change his name 3 more times. But Skywalker still late night hype. Check those guys out. Foots say he don't hate Dak Prescott because he's on this line with me. But when he go on to some other YouTube show and they don't like Dak Prescott, then Foots gonna change. Foots want to draft Trey Lance. Foots, if Trey Lance on the board at 10, what you doing, my guy? Be honest before we hang up. What you doing?
Trade.
We don't believe you, Foots, but hey, man, this was a good one, man. I appreciate you, brother Foots the King. Till next time, man. Y'all hold down for the Doski, Woski, Peasky, Whiskey. It's free. Me and Foots got to do a lot more of this because it's a classic every time we do. Peace.